Alrighty y'all, it is a Fate So Twisted here. Today we're going to be making this little treat pouch for doggies, and the first thing you'll need is to cut out the pattern, and that link will be in the description box below. Here I have cut out a little square that is approximately 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, and that's going to be the piece for the loop for the hook that I didn't show, the swivel hook. But anyway, you're going to do 2 outside pieces, 2 lining pieces, and 2 pieces of fusible interfacing for this, and the back will come later. We're only doing the front or the top first, and the back is a different process, so just keep watching. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to iron this interfacing only onto the 2 front pieces or outer pieces of the pouch that we're making. And if you don't know how to work with interfacing, I do have a video on that, and the link will be somewhere up here in the right hand corner of the video. And you can click on that and watch that really quick and learn how to do interfacing. So once I've got that done, I am going to start working on putting the bag together. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and make that loop for that swivel hook, and you see what I do here is I just I cut a piece that is about 4 inches wide, 4.5 inches wide, and I just work with it until it fits. If it doesn't fit, then I just keep folding over until I get the good size. And if you want to get these types of swivel hooks, I have a link in the description box below. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew a top stitch on each side of this loop. And once I'm done with the top stitch, I'm going to feed it through there, and then I'm going to sew the end just to keep it together. Don't know why I clip that. You don't really have to. It's just I have a habit of doing that when the edges get frayed. So I'm just going over that a couple of times, and a good tip is to start in the middle of that seam line so that when you do the back stitch it doesn't get caught up, the needle and the fabric don't get caught up. So now we're going to do this zipper, and I also have instructions on a zipper, but I'll show you here that I almost forgot that I do it on the zipper side. I line everything up. For small projects like this, I don't usually apply pins, but if that makes you more comfortable, you can apply pins and remove them before you get to them. So I'm doing the top side, and then I'm just going to take that back side and I'm going to flip that over and use the line that I can see from where I sewed the top part on, if that makes sense. And once I've got that process done, what I'll do is I'll flatten everything out with my fingers and make sure that the insides of the lining and the front part of the fabric are touching, and I'm going to kind of press it down with my hand and do a top stitch just to make it look all pretty and keep that from kind of sliding around and looking funky. So I'm going to repeat the process with the other side, and then we will move on to the next step. And now you're going to see here in just a second that sometimes stuff just happens when you're sewing, and mistakes are made. Thank goodness for seam rippers. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to do that with the seam ripper, and then I'm going to redo that top stitch and that inside stitch and that top stitch, and I'll be back at it. And now what you're going to want to do is take a piece of your lining fabric, a piece of your outer fabric, lay them with right sides facing together, and just pin what you just did on there. And as you can see, I am tracing it with a pencil. You can just sew it if you lay the pieces right and then just cut the edges, but that's a different story for a different day. This is the way I'm doing it in this video. So alrighty, so once we're done cutting this out, we can set this aside, and then we can put that loop on before we put everything together. So I'm just going to place it on the side here because that's what I saw them do in the photograph of the finished product from the pattern page, and I kind of like it better that way. If you want to put it under the zipper, like, you can do that, as long as you make sure you don't have any of those metal pieces on that zipper, because you're going to bust a needle. So now I'm going to apply these with wrong sides facing together for the bottom part, but they're going to be facing the right side of each other, whichever way you do it. So you're going to make sure too that the zipper is half open, and I'm just going to sew all the way around that. I don't need to leave a hole for turning because the zipper will be the hole. So just very carefully going to sew all the way around this. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is remove those pins, and I'm going to take my pinking shears. Sorry, I got out of camera range here. I was too focused on what I was doing. But you just want to go around very carefully. Don't clip through your seam, and cut with pinking shears. I don't have a way to serge the edges of my finished products, so pinking shears or a tight zigzag line would work. Unfortunately, my Viking doesn't do that consistent, continuous zigzag line. It just does the broken one, if you know what I mean. So now we're going to turn it right side out. We're going to press it, and we're going to impress our little doggies with their little new treat pouch. Alrighty, y'all, that's it for this video. If you like what you see, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I upload sewing tutorials every Tuesday, so be sure to hit that bell down below so you get notified when I upload a new video. That's it. There's the magic. Peace, y'all. Bye-bye.